What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bat in the Hat podcast, where we dive deep into all things nerd. My name, of course, is Jason Todd, and this is my show. With me today is Mr. Trey Namo. What's up, Trey?
How's it going, party people?
What's happening? We got a lot to talk about today. We got Titan Season 3. We got Spider-Man news. We got lots of Ben Affleck news. We got a whole bunch of shit. Everything pretty much revolves around HBO Max right now. But Trey, how was your weekend, man?
I can't complain. Definitely catching up on Titans, getting ready for season 2, just getting all things nerdy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty ready, man. I'm just ready for more shit to come out. COVID delayed everything, and I've been a hollow shell of a man ever since that happened. And now we're starting to slowly get stuff out, even though we had every movie in the world pushed back another 6 months.
Right.
Which is going to suck. Speaking of which, I guess James Bond, I didn't write this down or anything, but I guess James Bond, which was basically the reason, the delay for James Bond was the reason that Cinemark or whichever one of those shut down. I think it was Regal.
Yep.
Regal is shutting down their doors right now. I guess that's headed to streaming platform.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, they're going to put it, I don't know if
Really?
they're going to Mulan it, where they're going to make people pay $30 to watch it.
What do you think is coming out on, Amazon Prime or something?
I think it's Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I think the article that I saw was Amazon Prime.
I mean, if it's anything like how Borat 2 did, everybody watched that. It was trending all over Twitter, all over Facebook, Instagram.
I still haven't seen it.
Really?
I'm waiting because my girlfriend has been very erratic these last couple of weeks. Not her, but our life and everything has just been nuts. And she's constantly she's leaving for Atlanta on Wednesday, and there's just no time, and we both really want to watch it together. So it's one of those things where I was like, okay, I won't watch it, as long as you don't. And my old man really wants to watch it too, and we were going to try to do it as a group. But it's I've seen one clip, the very famous clip right now that's going around of Rudy Giuliani, and that's going all over the internet. And I guess Jimmy Kimmel had a lot to say about it. It was just it's a fiasco.
Right.
Which we won't get into here on the show, but I highly advise you guys to go check out Borat, the sequel, which has a super long Borat subsequent movie whatever. Yeah, super long. And then at least check out the Rudy Giuliani clip. Former mayor of New York?
Yep, former mayor, but he's a giant Trump supporter.
Yeah, huge. So. And I love it because Kate McKinnon plays him on SNL.
Yep.
And they always do her makeup, and he looks like the Penguin. He's like the live action version of the Penguin.
They don't do him that well, but in the movie, you'll definitely get little clips of him talking and everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, I get it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, let's go ahead and dive into the news, man. We got some cool stuff to talk about. Stuff that I'm excited about. By the way, this is the first show, I guess, that I'm doing with another person since I got the new microphone set up, the new sound set up. I've got new plugins for my GarageBand, my GarageBand.
Nice.
How you liking it, Trey? Is it nice to be able to hear our voices in the headphones?
I dig it. I mean, definitely coming back from that first day, whenever I was here on that Monday, just shooting the shit with your pops.
Right.
It was kind of a letdown, kind of how's this gonna go? And then
sucked.
You told me how much you dropped on these bad boys. I'm like, ooh, somebody's taking it serious.
You got to keep in mind, we've been doing the show for almost 2 years.
Right.
With those USB microphones.
Really?
And now I finally was like, this is fucking horse shit. And I got good microphones and shit. And I was like, I really just want reliable hardware stuff and I did so much research. I've done so for hours and hours and hours, days and days, I was watching comparison videos and reviews and ratings and this, that, and the other, and these MXL 770s, they came out on top just for the price, for reliability, for sound quality, what you can do with them. Really cool stuff. So I hope everybody out there enjoys the sound. It's kind of nice that I can get animated and get a little loud, get excited without them peaking and
right.
What's the word? Whatever, when they scratch and get real.
Getting all that reverb and all that.
Yeah, just really shitty. It's kind of nice that these have that kind of range. But hope everybody out there enjoys that because I done dropped some money on it.
Yes, sir. You definitely hit the ground running ever since COVID.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, man. I've been coming back doing the show. If you guys haven't checked this out yet, I fixed all of the ats and made them all the same. So the Bat in the Hat podcast on Facebook, go check us out. We're also at Bat Hat Pod on Instagram and Twitter, as well as I believe we're at Bat Hat Pod on TikTok. So check us out on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I'm posting videos now. I'm doing more things with like actual camera work and stuff like that. And I just super appreciate if you guys went and gave us a follow, gave us a like, gave us a review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. Because this is episode 35. 35 episodes. Technically 36 because I did like a mini episode for the Crisis on Infinite Earths event.
Mm-hmm.
But 35 episodes. It's kind of fucked up that in a year and a half it took me that long to get to 35 episodes. But again, COVID happened, so
Right.
you know,
COVID,
like,
life.
it's been like 6 months, you know. But
I mean, with the schedule you're on now, it's gonna get rocking.
oh yeah, absolutely. So we're just gonna keep trying to pump shit out and have some more fun, and that's why I like bringing you on. I like having Matt whenever he's available, you know, and he's gonna be on. I think for those of you who have been asking, Matt's gonna be back next Monday, I believe, and that'll be good. Because yes, I miss him as well. Let's dive into the news, man. Jared Leto's Joker was officially announced that he is going to be in Zack Snyder's Snyder Cut of the Justice League. What do you think about that, man?
I'm kind of interested because with the Snyder
Right.
Cut, they're breaking it into 4 parts, and they're all going to be like an hour to like
See,
hour and a half long.
I heard it's going to be 6 parts.
6.
Yeah,
Wow.
and they're going to be like 45 minutes, so it's going to be roughly 5 hours total of content.
Because they even brought back what's her name, Emily Heard, the Johnny Depp's
Oh,
wife.
Amber Heard.
Heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought her back in.
Crazy
They got
bitch.
Joe Manganiello back into
Yes.
it. So
Yeah, they're filming
definitely
more
expanding
Deathstroke
everything.
scenes. They're filming a lot more Aquaman. He said is going to be in it, expanding on Cyborg, and so every character is getting expansion because he felt like they didn't. Again, he I think Zack Snyder. I keep getting my Snyders mixed up between him and Scott Snyder.
Right.
Zack Snyder really wanted. He wanted this chance. Now, fun fact about this. They initially gave him they were like $35 million. Can you finish your movie? And he said yes, right? That's a lot of money. Not when you really compare the fact that a lot of these movies are made on like $135 million, right? Sometimes $200 million, which is a fucking lot of money. Now, they allotted him. They were like, all right, finish your movie. We would love to support the Snyder Cut. Brilliant marketing move on HBO Max part.
Definitely.
I think, because there's such a huge fan base that wants it. And they were like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll fund this project because everybody seems to want it. We also agree that Justice League sucked. Can you do it better? He said yes. $35 million. They've projected that he'll have spent about $90 million when it's done. Meaning he went not only over budget, which I don't think there's any strife. I don't think there's like they're mad at him or it's like, you know, but they're definitely making it to exactly how he wants it. He doesn't seem to be making any concessions based on like budget or anything like that. They're making the fucking movie.
Definitely.
Or the mini series or whatever. I'm stoked. Anyways, Jared Leto's Joker, about that specifically. I'm actually really excited. I'll tell you why. No, I didn't love the immediate appearance. I wasn't a big fan of the fuckboy, slick back hair, tattoos. However, I did like his mannerisms. I did kind of like his laugh. I kind of liked when he put the hand over his mouth for the, you know, this Joker smile. There was a lot of gold in that rough, or a lot of diamonds in that rough, and we didn't really get much of him at all. We barely got to see him. He didn't get to flesh out his version of the Joker, especially since David Ayer, who shot Suicide Squad, he basically has his own Ayer cut, A-Y-E-R, however you say that, Ayer.
Mm-hmm.
And he just on Twitter the other day was like, just watch the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad to see if I was crazy. Nope, still fire. So he has his own thing, and apparently in his movie that he is basically shot and done, Joker was the main villain.
Right.
So that's kind of crazy to think about, that again, these directors are getting so micromanaged by what Warner Brothers and DC was, and now they're like having to course correct, right? Because Marvel was the same way. The early MCU was very micromanaged, you had a lot of directors coming and going. Joss Whedon also quit after the Avengers, and when he was doing, I think he was doing like Thor 2, or he was doing one of those movies, and he quit and he said he'll never work with Marvel again because, of how they were, the producers, or the, not the producers, but the studio was treating them, right?
Right.
So that's kind of crazy. And David Ayer of course, I hope we get an Ayer cut, but that Joker, while not immediately gratifying, I think he could have been cool. You know what I mean? I think there could have been some dope shit in there, because I've always kind of liked the Joker, like Tom King's Batman in his run. There was a Joker who was like during it was called the War of Jokes and Riddles. And it was basically Joker and the Riddler had taken over Gotham City, and they were warring, right?
Right.
And the Joker couldn't smile. So through this he lost his smile. He lost his laugh. Nothing was funny to him. And so through this whole story arc, he was just a dick. Like, you thought Joker was crazy, but in this, he was just a dick, right? I kind of dig that. And that's kind of what Jared Leto reminds me of, because he had a lot of that, like, he would laugh and then go dead face,
Yeah. He definitely had that, like, kind of like Bill Skarsgård vibe, to where, like, Pennywise, like, he could just drop every tone and he just goes completely muted with it.
Oh, 100%.
But I'm definitely interested on, like, what scenes they're going to add him to. Like, I would love to see if, like, they add him into, like, the boat scene at the very end of it. Like, the little end part with...
that scene will not be in the movie.
Oh, it won't?
So, whack. And the only reason, I didn't mean to, like, cut you off. The only reason I wanted to bring that up is Zack Snyder, one of the big reasons why it's $90 million is... Zack Snyder said, I will not include a single film that I have not shot.
Right.
So his end scene that was already, I think, filmed and ready, that was something they cut. And then Joss Whedon filmed that end stupid boat scene with Deathstroke riding up to the yacht and all that, which I'm an optimist. I get excited about everything. I'm not that person who, and I think I talked about this last week on the show, I'm not that person that will sit there and immediately be like, "Oh fuck, this is gonna suck." No, I get pumped for things, right? Because like we're living in the golden age of being a comic book fan and seeing all of our childhood like heroes come to life. It's dope, right? Even Titan season 2 was kind of terrible.
Right.
It was great up until the end, and season 3, I'm sure they're kind of gonna fuck up, but I'm still excited about it, However, sitting in that movie theater, watching Justice League, I was pretty excited through the whole thing. I knew some of it was kind of whack. And then right at the end, we had that end credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole weird James Bond aesthetic, or it just felt corny and weird. And I remember sitting there, ever the optimist, being like, well, at least Deathstroke looks cool, because it was just a dumb fucking scene. You know what I mean?
It was pretty dumb. I mean, I was hoping that they'll at least elaborate a little bit more with it, and then especially adding Jared Leto's Joker into it. Right. That'd be pretty dope. But in that movie, wasn't the only like Leto scene in there was whenever he was driving the Bugatti, and like went over and then got a little jump scare and all that.
No, you got Rick Ross, man, that purple Lamborghini working,
Yeah, I think it was actually a not to get all car talk, but it was actually a body kit on a Infiniti G35.
I believe you're right.
Yeah, they modded that thing out.
Well,
and you can get them too.
The only reason I think you're right on that is because also as kind of a car guy and as somebody who's looked into a lot of times the expense of having to rent and then crash a Lamborghini is ridiculous. There was a guy when I was living in Orlando, there was a guy who built a Bugatti, like a fiberglass Bugatti body kit around a Honda Civic, and he would drive it around, and like he redid the interior. Everything looked awesome. It didn't look like a Bugatti on the inside. And then he put a
cherry bomb on the back end.
Well, it's just really funny because he genuinely like you'd be right. I'd be on my Harley and I'd be turning into, I lived in a trailer park at the time, and there's just this fucking Bugatti to drive. So one day I like followed him to the Walmart, and he parks the car, and I'm like, like getting out, I'm like, damn dude, that's what's up. And I'm like, that's not real though, right? And he's like, no, body kit. And he starts telling me all about this Honda Civic and the project. He got the idea from somebody else on YouTube, I guess. It's pretty crazy. So I'm pretty sure that that's something that's very commonly done in film now, because it's so easy for these special effects people to do.
Yeah.
Where they just take something like an Infiniti, you know, which is still kind of expensive cars. Like new Infinitis are fucking expensive, $50,000-$60,000.
A little coupe G35, I think they're like maybe 11,000.
11,000?
Like brand new, like factory then, because I think that car came out like
that's
right around 2011.
That's like the price of a Honda CBR, like a motorcycle. Though they have to be more than that. Those coupes, I think, are like $60,000, aren't they?
The newer ones, but depending on what they did with that, definitely. Because I actually ended up having one, and this was like right whenever that movie came out, and I was like, oh, that'd be so sick. And I'm like, I just graduated high school, I had like no money. I'm like, how much is that body kit? That's so rad. And I looked in the body kit, and it was like $60K. I'm like,
oh yeah,
ooh, and that's not including rims or nothing. That's just for like the fender flares and the scoops and everything.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, but it was badass.
That's pretty crazy.
But yeah, talking about that scene, how did that scene start? I haven't watched Justice League in a while. Did it just start on the car scene, or was there actually like an altercation going on between Batman and Margot Robbie and Leto?
Well, it's funny because that scene wasn't in Justice League. Now that I think about it, that was in Suicide Squad.
Really?
Yeah, the purple Lamborghini where he crashes into the water. That's how he catches Harley Quinn, and she goes to Belle Rev.
So then was Leto even in Justice League?
You know what? I don't think he was. I just watched this the other day too, and I can't remember if Leto was in it at all. I don't think he was. And I know that it's interesting because the Joker, Leto's Joker, was not part of Zack Snyder's plans at all for that movie. So this is something he himself is like, oh, you know what would fit cool here? A scene with the Joker. You know what I mean? So this is something new. So now that we're talking all this shit, I love doing this. I love whenever we catch ourselves doing this, or I catch myself, because I know that there's an angry nerd listening to this, like screaming at his, you know, he's not in the fucking movie,
right.
You know. Last week I was calling the Star Wars holiday special the Christmas special,
right? And
I caught myself because they celebrate Life Day. They don't celebrate, you know. That's really fucking funny.
To tie into that, what's her name? Daisy Ridley is going to voice Rey in it, and she's going to have a scene fighting Darth Vader in that movie.
I forgot to write that down. Thank you. In the holiday special, she's going to fight Darth Vader. You said that to me earlier, I think. That's really fucking interesting. I wonder how they're gonna bring that all together.
I think they're just gonna get rid of like the whole campiness and try to make it like how successful like the Lego movies are.
Right.
So it's definitely going to be really interesting.
Well, so I still have never seen, and this is weird, but I still have never seen the Lego Batman movie.
Why not?
Because I hate kids' movies.
You will love...
I'm a miser. However...
You're staring at a wall of toys.
I know. I'm all my Funko Pops. Look, I got so Tony bought me the Red X one up there nice. As a gift for doing my first video, and then I got the Robin as Nightwing one too. I love Funko Pops. I can't lie. At least the DC Funko Pops I really get into.
So then what is getting you out of like Lego? Wait, did you like Teen Titans Go?
Oh, I love Teen Titans Go. I really do.
Why wouldn't you see the Batman movie?
I watch Teen Titans Go all the time. It is so fucked up. There's a scene, I don't remember if it was in the Teen Titans Go, like Teen Titans Go to the movies, or if it was just in the show. There's a scene where Robin is like trying to correct something he like fucked up, and he time travels back to Crime Alley, and you see the Waynes walk into it, and he runs in and murders them.
Yeah, that was the movie.
Oh, was that in the movie?
Yep.
Yeah. It's just so... That show is awesome. So yes, I'll tell you why. I typically am like, whenever a new Pixar movie comes out, I don't really get excited. I'm not that guy who's like, oh, new, you know, this looks cool. Some of them I think look cute, but like, God, how even the ones that won like Oscars, like Onward and Frozen 2, I haven't seen any of those.
What is wrong with
you? They just
you?
don't
oh
interest
my
me.
God.
And I know that's awful.
Onward?
I know that's awful. However, I thought when I started dating my girlfriend, I was like, oh, this will be the person who makes me watch these things. And she doesn't.
Right.
She just doesn't.
You're over here just watching Grey's Anatomy, hating life. God, I hate
I've watched 12 seasons of Grey's Anatomy, and I do love that show.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, I know it is. It's 100% formulaic. However, all right, so I will tell you this. Teen Titans Go, that's actually one of those things I didn't watch, because I was kind of on that, like, oh, I like the original. I wasn't as hateful as I think everyone else is.
I was originally.
Really?
Yeah.
And again, I think that comes from, well, like you haven't been super into comic books themselves for a long time, right?
No,
so
recent.
You've been more of a, which I always say on the show, there's nothing wrong with being a movie fan or being a fan of the characters. I don't require people. I'm not a gatekeeper. I don't require people to read comics. However, I think that when you really get into comics and you start to, especially DC, because you have to adapt to them rebooting their history in crisis after crisis after, you know what I mean. So I think that it's given me this weird ability to not get super upset. Like, I'm really excited about DC Future State. Whatever happens after that, I'm pretty pumped about it. But I was kind of on that camp of, oh, I like the original. This just doesn't seem like it. You know, this ain't it, Chief. So I never watched it. Right. And then, like, months ago, I sat down and I had nothing to do. Pretty sure I was high out of my mind. And I was sitting there and I turned on Teen Titans Go because it's all on Hulu. And I laughed and I haven't stopped. I just love it.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Lego Batman movie, the reason I haven't seen that was kind of the same thing. I just was like, oh, this looks dumb. I saw a clip of it the other day. And again, anything that has that kind of like wit, that adult humor
that's all that movie
kids don't get, but they can enjoy. Oh, it's the Lego Batman, but the adults are enjoying the fuck, man. It was so funny. It was so funny. Just this clip, this 5-minute clip I watched that I was like, all right, I have to watch this soon. I still haven't. I'm going to watch it probably this week sometime, but I just, man.
God, you got some homework to do.
I know.
That's great. You definitely have to hop on Train to Busan. I don't care what you say. Like,
oh, I know, yeah.
That movie.
No, I'm dying to
phenomenal.
See it. See, that's the kind of thing I get into. Yeah, Train to Busan looks awesome. Anyways, Ben Affleck. Speaking of the Snyder Cut, Ben Affleck, is coming back.
Right.
For the Snyder Cut, that's confirmed. However, it's rumored right now, just rumored, that Ben Affleck is in talks with Warner Brothers to not only have future movie cameos. Oh, he's also confirmed for The Flash.
Right.
So we know he's going to at least show up in The Flash in some capacity.
So it's him and Keaton?
So him and Keaton are both in. Now, we don't know. Michael Keaton confirmed this week. We don't know if Keaton is going to be Batman at all. It is going to be his version of Bruce Wayne from those movies, but we don't know if he'll don cape and cowl. We don't know what capacity he'll be in. I think it's going to be a Batman Beyond situation. However, I'll shut up. Ben Affleck, however...
Go an hour on that.
Yeah, we could talk about that for a while. Ben Affleck, however, is rumored to have further movie cameos and an HBO Max series.
Really?
That's going to be his Batman. Now, what's interesting about that is the movie The Batman, which we now know is Robert Pattinson and... who's it being directed by? The guy from Planet of the Apes.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
But he did the Planet of the Apes movie. He's a really fantastic... I just can't... It's blanking in my head right now.
You get it.
You guys get it. Director guy. So that movie was originally the title of Ben Affleck's... Ben Affleck was going to write, direct, and star in his own Batman movie. I was pumped about that because I know Ben Affleck is a comic book fan.
Yeah.
You know, Kevin Smith gave him his start. Like, one of the first movies, one of the earlier movies, not the first, but one of the earlier movies he was in was Mallrats.
Right. Chasing Amy.
Amy. He was in, what was that teen movie, the one about them smoking weed? High Times at, no, not Ridgemont High.
I know.
Dazed and Confused. He was in Dazed and Confused, and some of those, you know, when he was younger. But he is a genuine Batman comic book. Like, dude's obsessed. He's a nerd.
Yeah.
So he was going to write, direct, and he said, I won't do it unless they let me have the reins because I want to make a good I want to make the Batman, you know?
Right.
I respected the fuck out of that. And then he ended up quitting because of he did have he had problems with alcoholism. He was trying to get his demons right. I respect that. But he also cited they wanted too many, like, oh, but we think this should be in the movie.
Yeah.
Again, kind of that like research shows that teens really like this or this demographic, you know, we think you should
that movie just got washed and it kind of ruined and gave everybody a sour taste.
Which is weird because now when it gets to the point that they're doing it now, they had none of that. They were like, no, just fucking make a good make a good movie. So that movie was originally going to be his. It was going to be called The Batman. And he had 3, I think, planned, or 2 of them planned. Like in his head, like storyline wise. And the rumor is that this HBO Max, if it's true, if he really is being signed on to do these things, this HBO Max series will be what that movie or those movies were going to be, right? He'll have his vision of Ben Affleck's Batman that they'll get to do, right? You following me?
So they're just gonna make it like, kind of like how they're doing with the Snyder Cut, where it's gonna be cut up, but it's just gonna be one long continuous movie.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be more like a mini series.
Mhm.
You know, it could have multiple seasons. All of that kind of stuff depends on how successful it is.
Damn.
But it's going to be more of a mini series, and it's also interesting because HBO Max at the same time is going to have the Gotham PD show,
Right.
which is based in Robert Pattinson's Bat Universe.
Yeah.
Year One Batman, which Robert Pattinson is supposed to make cameos and appearances in. It's not
Mhm.
going to be focused on him, but he is supposed to be in it. And they're also going to have, that Ben Affleck. Again, this is all rumor, but what a fucking fun
Yeah.
rumor that is.
I mean, if we can dream about rumors, I'm really hoping that
Yeah.
like that Ben Affleck one that they're making, I'm really hoping they can tie it in with that new game that's coming out, the Gotham Knights game. If they can kind of tie that series to where like if you saw like the breakdown of
the
that.
problem with that is, I've been
Mhm.
following nothing about. I mean, I'm super into the Gotham Knight. I can't wait for that. The problem with that is that is a game and a world that is established in. We know the Red Hood, we know Robins, we know, you know what I mean. It would take a lot for them to catch Ben Affleck. It could be similar because they're both like Batman at the end of their careers, or like later Batman.
I mean, Ben Affleck is kind of long in the tooth, and if you saw him in that recent movie that he just had come out, that basketball coach one.
Oh, I love
he-
that.
he was
The
pretty-
Way Back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was kind of schlubby. Like he wasn't like yoked Ben Affleck in the Batman movie.
No, but have you seen all the stuff about him getting ready to be in the Flash and
He's
in the
gonna do it
Snyder
again?
Cut? He's yoked again. Yeah.
Mhm.
He
That's
wants
a hard thing to do.
He wants to stay back, but you also got to remember now he is older. He's in his 40s, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of I mean, look at Christian Bale, also in his 40s, who constantly is gaining and losing weight and becoming shredded and becoming. I mean, Tom Hardy doing the same thing. Tom Hardy constantly goes up and down.
But they're on that level of like method actor. Like Ben's never really
sure.
been to like that level. Like he's not up in that upper echelons like everyone else.
I'll agree with you. However, I'm not going to hold him to that. If
He's
he
like-
dude, if he wants
He's
to
like
give
B team to
But
A
if
team.
he wants to give 100% to, because again, I think he gives a fuck about this character.
Definitely.
If he wants to go that far to do it, power to you, man.
Always.
I'll agree with you that he's not, again, Jared Leto, Christian Bale, some of these guys who are serious method actors who we know are kind of fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
However, Joaquin Phoenix, I mean, that dude's the definition of method.
Right.
But if he wants to go that extra mile for a character he really gives a shit about, dude, power to you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even write it in here. Oh, I guess we talked about it. I talked about it last week. That freaked me out because I thought of Mallrats 2. That got confirmed.
Right.
We already talked about this last week, so I won't talk about it too much. But
Cut it.
Mallrats 2 was confirmed, and apparently the whole cast has signed on to come back, including Ben Affleck and Michael Rooker and, some of those guys, which I just think is awesome. Let's see. The Power Rangers. Power Rangers are getting a reboot. And not only are the Power Rangers getting a reboot, but they're getting a live action TV series that is tied to the new movie reboots. So I don't know if that means we'll get a Power Rangers movie and a show with the same cast doing Power Ranger stuff, or if it'll be like Gotham PD where we have the movie and then some side characters are going to get a show.
I mean, luckily with that cast from the movie that came out in 2016?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, luckily that cast, none of them really blew up to like really like budget type of actors, so they could definitely get that whole cast back. Other than the Red Ranger, because he had that like
Red
little stint in
Ranger,
Stranger
he's
Things.
on Stranger Things, and he is. I think he's doing. He just got cast in something really big, like pop culture big, like something I was kind of freaking out about.
Really?
But it was a rumor, so I didn't want to talk about it. But he's on the way. I think he's on the way. That kid who played the Blue Ranger,
RJ Seidler.
yeah, he's from Jax.
Yep.
He
Went to Inglewood. What's up, dude?
Yeah, he went to Inglewood. It's weird because I have friends who genuinely were like, "Oh, I knew him," like
Yeah.
he's not that much older than us, like or me.
Like right whenever I came in as a freshman, that's whenever he graduated.
Yeah.
So everybody on like the football team though, still like seniors their years. Whenever I was a freshman, they were talking about him because he was a pretty funny guy around school, and seeing someone blow up from a local town,
Yeah.
it's always interesting.
He has a lot of stuff in the works right now. I think a lot of those kids you're gonna see them. That was early in all of their careers, and I think they did that on purpose. They wanted unknowns. They wanted people they could like, kind of show off. I think we're gonna see them kind of take off. Especially that girl. She was also in something. The girl who played Kimberly, the Pink Ranger. She was also in some other things, and I can't remember what it was now. But I'm excited, man. I'm not the. I used to think I was a pretty big Power Rangers fan.
What Power Ranger is your Power Ranger? Like, are you a Mighty Morphin,
Oh,
Dinosaur?
Mighty Morphin,
Mighty
yeah.
Morphin?
Mighty Morphin and Turbo was like my era.
Yep.
Because like Tommy revolved around all of that. So Jason David Frank was like my hero growing up. And I remember getting I had the Mighty Morphin movie on VHS, of course. I had the Power Rangers Turbo movie, which is a really good movie.
It's pretty slept on in the Power Rangers
It's
universe.
so slept on. It's so good. It's very cinematic. I've watched it again like as an adult.
I think it's because the Dinomorph one came out like I think a couple months after that one,
Yeah.
so it kind of trumped it.
It was just fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Like all the cars and just I thought it was filmed like the cinematography was great. The story was kind of cool. And I just was flipping through channels the other day and the Mighty Morphin movie was on. No, it was the Dino one, I think, because he was going over the waterfall and he caught Kimberly. I don't remember which one that was. I think that was
the Dino.
the Dino one, right? Or it could have been Turbo for all I fucking remember.
I don't know. It's so flooded with Power Ranger movies.
All I know is Tommy was in it. Jason David Frank was in it, and so I used to think I was a really big Power Ranger fan, but now working at a comic book shop, I realize I'm not a fan of anything. I'm not even a Batman fan technically. You know what I mean? There are people who are so far more obsessed and knowledgeable about that stuff, and it makes you feel awful. However, I'm really excited that we're getting. I liked the 2016 movie. I know that that's a minority opinion. A lot of people seem to have hated it. I thought it was pretty great. Do I think they went a little overboard with the designs? Sure. They looked a little sci-fi, but all in all, I thought it was fun. I had a good time.
I was just happy to see Bryan Cranston as Zordon.
Oh,
that made me smile.
Dude, Bryan Cranston is awesome. I was just complaining to my girlfriend. I was like, I've watched Breaking Bad like 5 times now, and I just finished it. Gosh, 6 months ago, I think I finished it for the 5th time.
Did you end up watching the little one they had come out?
The movie El Camaro? Yeah, like 4 times I've seen that.
Nice.
And I already just want to watch it again. Yeah. It's just so good from front to back. It's a perfect TV show.
Not to shit on like one of the characters in there, but the ginger guy, he was like the cousin in El Camino. He was the one who like needed help hiding the body.
Oh, yeah.
He got so fat.
He got really fat. So I felt bad because I'm a big dude, you know. He got body shamed hard when that movie came out. Because he gained a lot of weight since that role, And
it was definitely hard weight. It wasn't like, oh, you got a gut. Like, he got face weight.
His face gained a lot. Yeah.
Unhealthy.
I will say, though, if you can get past that, because there were a few things, like they couldn't shave his head again, Bryan Cranston.
Right.
So when the scenes of him, like the flashback scenes, he came back as Walter White, it was the most obvious, awful bald cap I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So you kind of had to get past some things, but I will say that his performance was fantastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember the name of the character, but even though he gained all that weight, he was still that character through and through, and I loved it a lot. Did you ever see the show? Did you ever watch that show?
Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was so heavy into AMC. Yeah. Breaking Bad, Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Fear the Walking Dead. I was just die hard into it.
I haven't watched Better Call Saul yet, only because I kind of want to wait.
Don't really need to.
I have friends who say it's amazing. And I will say that Breaking Bad didn't get popular till like the 5th season was coming out. So I still have faith that it's going to be an awesome show.
Saul didn't get good till about like season 3, but it's like if you thought Breaking Bad was really slow burn, this one you barely have like any flame to it.
Really?
But you just love the character because you can see what he was in Breaking Bad, and it shows like tiny little glimpses that just keeps pulling you in. But
right.
It's so
because
hard
the
to get
idea
through.
is that you're watching him turn into that guy. He was a lot more optimistic and good-hearted, and he wasn't Saul Goodman yet, you know? And so I think that's really cool. I can't wait to finally watch it, but I am holding out until it has more legs under it, and at least seasons. I'm a binge watcher, man. If I can just take a week and every night that I have free time, just binge watch however many episodes, I'm happy.
Well, you better get all your binging in because we know what's coming in November.
What's coming in November?
Young Justice.
Oh shit, that's right. Young Justice is coming out. Is the new season coming out already in November?
New season drops November 1st or 2nd, I think, on HBO Max.
I know that November 1st, Titans and Young Justice, like the seasons that are already out are coming. I didn't know that the new one was already coming out.
I think it is.
Either way, I love that show. That show is fucking great.
Oh, not to go back on Bryan Cranston, but definitely my favorite performance by him was the Batman Year One, the animated one.
Say Batman Year One.
Yeah.
And again, the guy from, I think we talked about this, Bryan Cranston was Jim Gordon in Batman Year One. And the guy who played Batman was the guy who played Jim Gordon in Gotham.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so I can't remember his name right now, but the guy who played Jim Gordon all through Gotham, he was Batman in Batman Year One, and Bryan Cranston was Jim Gordon, who did a great job, by the way.
Hated Gotham, but nice.
I would say to anybody who hates Gotham,
hi,
I understand. However, maybe give it another shot. There's a lot of redeeming quality. Again, if you can look at it like it's its own thing, like you look at it like, fuck all of the history, fuck, whatever world. It's not supposed to mimic anything. It's not supposed to be based on anybody else's world, on their design, on their whatever. Just watch it as if this is its own interpretation of Batman. Of what, of... Now, were there a lot of things even I hated about it? Yeah. That close-up, the very last episode, that close-up of Batman, the reveal, was the most awkward, stupid-looking thing I've ever seen.
It was pretty bad.
However, I still think it was a lot of fun. I think a lot of the characters they did pretty well. The Mad Hatter, and Mad Hatter was one of my favorites, actually, and what's his name? Mr. Freeze, and just stuff like that. I thought was pretty great. But yeah, I'd say to anybody should give it at least another shot. Maybe just try it out, because I think that there's some diamonds in that rough. But
it's definitely like a show you can watch, kind of like The Office, and just not really pay attention to.
Yeah,
it's definitely a good background show
if you're a big
DC guy.
Speaking of what's hopefully going to be a better show, Oscar Isaac is I'm going to say currently still rumored. He's in talks. It has not been made official. However, by the time this episode comes out, we're filming this on Monday, the 27th, I think today is. Is today the 26th?
Believe so.
Fuck, I'm always bad at dates. On Wednesday, when it comes out, what's Wednesday? The 28th. So today is the 26th. On Wednesday, the 28th, this could be official. Oscar Isaac is in talks to play the title character of Moon Knight in the Disney Plus series. I don't know if I care. Here's the thing. I know everybody's excited. Everybody's excited. Why? Moon Knight is the most who gives a fuck character in all of Marvel. And I know that he's like their Batman.
Yeah.
That's what people akin it to. But not really, I get he's a billionaire. He puts on a suit and he fights crime. But he also kind of has powers. And he kills people. He just straight up murders people. So he's almost nothing like Batman, except the fact that he's rich and he puts on a suit. A suit of exact solar opposite colors as Batman.
Yep, just with a hood.
Just with
Only
a hood.
Difference.
So, do you know much about Moon Knight? Are you a Moon Knight fan?
Not really. I mean, I dig the whole multiple personality thing.
Right.
Which, to tie it back into movies, it would be kind of interesting if they can kind of portray him like the actor who did Split, and that James McAvoy.
James McAvoy, love him.
But
yeah.
I don't know how big of a method actor Oscar Isaac is.
I think he has potential to be a great actor. I think he's
definitely
he's very good.
He murdered it as Poe Dameron, but
yeah,
I don't know if he can flip that switch and just
I think I could see him doing it. It's not him that I'm questioning. It's just the show in general. I'm sure it'll be very good. It'll be well produced. It'll look phenomenal. It's MCU stuff.
What do you think they're gonna tie it around to? Who do you think is gonna be the big bad? because I honestly haven't heard
That's
anything.
the thing.
Other
I don't
than
know fucking anything about Moon Knight, so I don't know who his villains are. And it's not one of those things, I don't think, where I'm just ignorant. He showed up in Werewolf by Night, right? That was his first appearance, was in Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night number 37?
I don't know. Somewhere Logan is 22? Screaming.
Yeah, I don't know. Werewolf by Night. We actually have one at the shop, and I still don't remember what number it is. But I know that he showed up in that. He's more closely tied to characters like Blade and you know, those street level kind of supernatural characters. But he just, like, he's never been mainstream. And I'm not saying that doesn't mean he's good, but I just want to know why suddenly there's a billion screaming Moon Knight fans out there.
I don't know. I mean, I guess because he's more like badass than like Deadpool would be, because Deadpool is more like witty in the comics.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And definitely Moon Knight kind of has that like wit like Deadpool kind of has. But I've only seen him, like, personally, because I'm kind of new to comics, I've only seen him on like some team ups with like Avengers,
right,
and like Spider-Man crossovers.
I've only ever seen him in now I know he had his original Moon Knight series. It was like 38 issues or something like that. Moon Knight Volume 1. And he's had his own solo books since then.
Gun to your head, could you name his villain or like anything about him?
I know Khonshu.
Or the orange.
Khonshu is the name of the Egyptian spirit that like lives in him. It's one of his personalities. And that's what like gives him his powers, is Khonshu. And I only know that because that's like a very recent storyline that just ended in Avengers. Again, I'm not saying he's a bad character. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad show. I'm just curious as to why people care so much. And what should I look into to become a fan? Is there a signature story arc I should read? Is there something I should really look into? Because as far as I can tell, and it's also kind of weird because he has one of the more expensive first appearance comics, right? Like when you're looking for first appearances and you're trying to buy Werewolf by Night number fucking whatever is expensive. The one we had at the store on its grade was like $800, $850, I think. There's a lot of vastly more popular characters who have gotten a lot more not screen time, but like page time, and like had really awesome story arcs and are kind of just bigger deals in their own right, whose first appearances are still $10, $20. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had that. Why the fuck is his $850 and that Black Lightning first appearance that you found was $20? You know what I mean?
I have no idea. I mean, Black Lightning was a great character, but
He's
then
an amazing character.
I think Static kind of like took the hype out of it until that CW show came back.
I think that they're kind of like hand in hand, because Static may be the favorite, but even Static's first appearance isn't that expensive unless it's graded at a 9.8. Graded at a 9.8, you can get the Platinum Edition, which is the one a lot of people look for.
The fourth print.
You can get it's still first print, but they did a Platinum Edition.
Or that's the title. The fourth variant, because they had four.
Yeah, yeah, it's like the covers. Yeah, the cover D or whatever. ABC.
Speaking of that, Spec Book, Icon 10. That's the first appearance of Static, like in comics. He's like on the back, like 3 pages of like that Icon series that they had for that line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like really? It's kind of like how Wolverine is.
It's like
Hulk
a
181,
cameo.
but he's in 180.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. But even him, like graded at a 9.8, that Platinum cover is $600. It may be more. It may have just gone up because of they announced the show was being produced, or the movie was being produced with Michael B. Jordan and all that. So it may have gone up. However, it's still not as expensive, and Static's a way cooler character, and he's a more important character. He's had a TV show. Black Lightning has had his own CW show, and he's the central hub of Batman and the Outsiders, which has always been like an important thing in DC comic. You know what I mean? Like, why the fuck is Moon Knight's first appearance so expensive, and these other characters aren't getting their due?
I don't know. I would definitely try to email the podcast and let us know what we need to read.
Yeah, somebody, fucking Christ, somebody comment on the post when I posted about this episode being published, and let me know what, on Facebook, on Instagram, I don't care if you DM me, just fucking let me know. What should I read to really care about Moon Knight? Spider-Man 3, did we already bring up Spider-Man 3? No, we didn't. Spider-Man 3 officially begins filming, like now, in Atlanta. you gotta give it to Tom Holland, man.
Yeah.
Right off the back of Uncharted, just finished filming that movie, which guaranteed is a very physical movie.
Yeah.
Guaranteed is something that probably wore him out.
I think there's rumors that Mark Wahlberg, because he's playing Sully or whatever that character's name is.
Sully. Yep.
Yeah, he like tore like his whole entire pec and bicep like
Really?
during one of the shoots, because like how they do all those like swinging on like ropes and shit.
That's crazy.
So that movie was definitely physical, but I just love how they kind of like let Tom Holland be Tom Holland in everything that he does, to where like he accidentally like leaks the Avengers Endgame poster on his Instagram and stuff, and like before they even dropped that, like Spider-Man 3 started shooting, Tom Holland's on live and he's like, just shooting Spider-Man 3, bruv.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. He's awesome, man. I love Tom Holland, but you got to give it to him going from physical movie to another physical movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be exhausted. Or maybe, what is he, like 22? He's young,
yeah,
right?
he's like 22 and he's always done gymnastics and stuff.
Yeah, he's probably got way more energy than my fat ass could even like fathom, you know?
Right.
But it started filming, which is awesome.
Come on, Spider-Man.
I'm very excited. I know that we have a lot of surprises in store. They haven't released a whole lot of information about what it is. It's operating under the code name Serenity now, because all of their code names for their movies, for the Spider-Man movies, have always been Seinfeld references, which I always think is interesting. I think it's going to be awesome. I loved Far From Home. I loved Homecoming. I love that Michael Keaton is going to be back. I'm pumped. We're getting a Sinister Six of some sort. It's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, Tom Holland, man.
Those are my favorite Spider-Man movies. Like that scene where he was pinned underneath the rubble to pay homage to that Spider-Man cover, where he's like, come on, Spider-Man. Come on, Spider-Man. Yeah. Oh, my God. I was bawling in the theaters. My girlfriend's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, he's so...
Speaking of homage, we were talking about that cover. I don't know if... I need to post it. I did. I posted it on IG and stuff. We found that... Was it Avengers or it was Tales of Suspense, I think. Tales of Suspense number 38 is like or 39, or maybe it's fucking a different number, 29. No, it's Tales of Suspense number 29. It's this cover with Iron Man standing there and Captain America busting through like a paper wall, right? Like it's an homage cover, like a secret homage cover to Detective Comics number 38, which is the first appearance of Robin.
Where he's jumping through like the little banner, right?
The banner. And so on Instagram, go to @PatHatPod on Instagram, check it out, because we took a picture of them side by side. And it's really fucking cool because it's like a secret. And it's not listed in the CGC. It's not listed in the Overstreet book as an homage, because I don't think back then that was a common thing. But it clearly, if you look at it, it clearly was like, oh, we're just going to do a little secret,
Not to put you on the spot, but do you know who... like inked and drew that comic?
Those old Golden Age books, I have no idea.
Because I didn't know if they were both like a Kirby on both of them, or like what they might have been.
No, because you got to remember, Detective Comics being DC, Jack Kirby didn't work on any of those. So it was... Kirby definitely could have done this Tales of Suspense. I mean, definitely even looks like Kirby art when you look at it. So, Kirby had a way of doing faces that were just ugly New York faces. And Captain America's face on that cover definitely looks like it. So it's possible.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jacob Batalon, but I don't know how to say it. It's like Batalon, Jacob Batalon. He's the young man who plays Ned Leeds in the Spider-Man movies. Has dropped a significant amount of weight.
I am so happy for him.
Since that. Now, so here's the thing. Some people are speculating, because people are pieces of shit, that he's doing it because Ned Leeds in the comic book becomes the Hobgoblin. I don't even think Ned Leeds was the original Hobgoblin. I just think he was one of them. However, people were like, oh, they put him on that MCU workout plan. I think he's just like young and was like, I don't want to be fat anymore. Like a lot of people hit that wall where they're like, I just don't want to, I'm making some money now. Let me get a trainer and a cook and I'm going to lose some weight. And he looks good. He looks really good. Super proud of you just as a big dude. Jacob, shout out to you. I don't think that it had anything to do with him maybe becoming the Hobgoblin or another role.
Would you like to see that, though?
Yeah, I think I would if this goes long enough. I don't want... Again, I think when they try to jam it into even 4 movies, like, look at how young they are. If there was some history behind it, someday, yeah, I'd like to see that come into something.
Probably with this third one, they might have, like, some, like, little tiny, like, ties to where you can start seeing, like, the tide start to shift for that character arc.
I was gonna
and
say
then maybe the fourth.
maybe they'll start to show he's kind of becoming a dick, or maybe they'll write around his weight loss, and he'll start kind of like being a Flash Thompson to Peter Parker, like I'm thin and cool, you know.
Because in Far
fuck
From
off,
Home,
nerd, you know.
and Far From Home, he definitely had a couple little scenes where he was with his girlfriend, and that's whenever Tom Holland's character with Peter Parker was like ditching him and stuff, and he kind of wanted to be with him during that.
Right.
So I don't know if they're gonna like kind of use that as like a little jumping point, and
I
then
thought those
start
scenes were
breaking
cute.
it.
He had his little girlfriend, and they broke up when they like on the flight back or whatever. That movie's funny, dude. Very cool. But you got to keep in mind, this world knows Spider-Man is Peter Parker. You know, at the end of Far From Home, Mysterio releases his identity. I don't know what the fuck this movie's going to look like. I'm really excited for it, though. As somebody who's not really a Marvel fan, these movies have kept me interested enough, you know? And Spider-Man, I think for most of us, like, of course I'm a Spider-Man fan. I think it's hard if anybody ever tells me you're not a Spider-Man fan, I think you're a liar.
Right.
Because especially like us, my generation, the 4 generations before me, you know, we all grew up with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's just
even prior to that, like you had all like the 70s cartoons, like Spider-Man and Friends.
Right.
Like
so
all those.
So of course I love Spider-Man. So these movies have been fantastic. I can't wait to see where they go.
Would you consider Tom Holland to be your Spider-Man, or
no?
Toby.
So it's weird. If I had to pick my favorite, nobody fucking agrees with me. It's Andrew Garfield.
Really?
I really liked those movies. I can see why the second one was kind of trash. They used that whole movie as a promotional tool for the next movie.
Yeah.
It was a 2-hour-long trailer. However, the cinematography, gorgeous. I loved the suit. I thought Andrew Garfield, I think he's a phenomenal actor. I think he was funny. When I say he's my favorite, that's by the thinnest margin, and it's a maybe, because I love the Tobey Maguire movies.
So you'd put Holland at 3?
No, I don't think I juggle them, man. I think that I think the Holland movies are the best. Like, if we're just talking about quality of movies, the Holland movies are the best. Tobey Maguire movies, those sit in my heart so deep, though, because growing up, those were the first like superhero movies I saw, like the first real, not campy, not, you know, Batman '89. You know, I'm talking legit CGI epic.
Yeah,
it was that, you know, fantastic, really well. Even the third movie, I thought the first 2 movies were damn near perfect, but even the third movie had some gut-wrenching scenes. The scene where he forgives the Sandman and he just drifts away in the wind. Fuck, dude. Kills me. Love it. So I love him. And I think Tom Holland is spot on. The only thing I think I don't like about Tom Holland, I'm not crazy about the suits. I don't like the suit designs. I didn't like the Iron Spider. That's such a minor thing to me, though, because the movies as total and his acting ability, him being Peter Parker, he's probably the best Peter Parker we've had. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only thing that saved it for me was the eyes on that suit, but I can definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, and I don't even mind the whole, like, I've had a lot of people be like, I hate that Tony Stark just made him I don't. Like, fucking,
why?
You tied it into that universe. Again, this universe is its own thing. I don't give a fuck what they did in the comic books.
Yeah.
You know? If they decided that he shot webs out of his dick hole, like, that's cool. That's this version of Spider-Man. The whole point, everybody seems to want a multiverse until they have to watch a movie that's a different universe character. You know what I mean? So I appreciate changes. I appreciate iteration. I appreciate, you know, a director or a writer being like, this is the Spider-Man I've always wanted to do. And that's why I really enjoy the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I thought that they were really good. I thought that they looked great. I thought the first one particularly was awesome. So, you know, that's my answer. I mean, do you have a Spider-Man that you're particularly fond of?
Probably mine would be Tom Holland. I mean, Garfield would probably definitely be 3rd for me.
Sure.
And then
there's nothing wrong with that.
Toby would be number 2. Just because I grew up with Toby.
Right.
And then Tom Holland definitely, like, got that, like, kid from Queens. He got all that down perfectly.
Yeah.
But there was only... Yeah.
Aunt May. God damn. What's her name? Marissa Tomei?
Yeah.
Is that her? Whew, man. My cousin Vinny, when I was growing up, I always thought she was hot. But now, definition
right?
Of a MILF. I love her so much.
Nah, but yeah, there was definitely only like 2 scenes out of like these whole Spider-Man movies that definitely like hit me like right in the heart, and that was like the "Come on, Spider-Man" from I think that was from Homecoming, and then the Spider-Man 2 whenever they're doing the train scene where he's fighting Doc Ock. That was insane. I love that scene.
Oh, you're talking about from the
OG.
OG one. What was the "Come on, Spider-Man" scene?
The "Come on, Spider-Man" scene was whenever he fought. Why am I pulling a blank?
From the Maguire movies?
No, from the
Homecoming
movies.
Vulture?
Yeah, when he fought Vulture.
And the Rocks.
The Rocks came down, and he had to like they played homage to that classic Spider-Man cover where like he has like the water dripping over him, and it's like the final act or whatever.
The rubble and stuff. Yeah, that shit.
And like you can just hear like the gravel in his voice to where he's actually breaking, and it doesn't seem like it's actually acting. It seems like it's all real. It's not fake to me, man.
I do love that movie, man. I'm excited for Spider-Man 3. I can tell you, I don't want a Spider-Verse personally. Just me. I don't know why everybody wants that. I think it's cool, the idea that we could see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in a, but like fucking why? We got the animated. Maybe I'm just being a dick. The animated Spider-Verse movie was perfect.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
I've definitely been changing on my opinion with that. I was all for it, but now that you kind of say that and definitely looking into it, I would just kind of be happy with like the death of Tony Stark and them starting to get into like this whole second chapter. Fingers crossed they throw in mutants. But with that second chapter coming, I definitely wouldn't mind if they had like just at least a Miles Morales come in.
Right.
And just leave it as that rather than
I'd
doing
like
that.
to see a Miles come in. And it's cool that they already referenced Miles with his uncle being the one who got handcuffed to the car.
Yeah.
In
Donald Glover
in Homecoming, and then that deleted scene where he calls and he goes, "Miles, I'm not going to make it," kind of thing. Like that was really cool. And they could technically bring him in because if he wasn't snapped, he'd be 5 years older. He'd be in that age range. Because like in Homecoming, he was technically like 11 or 10 years old. And then Peter Parker got snapped, and it's 5 years later, he would be like 15, 16 years old, right?
That'd be interesting.
So they could bring him in. Again, I'm excited to see what they do with Venom, what they do with Morbius, I guess. I'm not really excited about that. I like
Leto, but I don't really give a fuck about Morbius.
I don't give a fuck about Morbius. Again, that's not me being negative. I'm not like I'm not being a hypocrite. I just don't care, I don't think it's even going to be bad. I'm still going to watch it,
I feel like it's going to go the same route like that Bloodshot movie with Vin Diesel went, where it was all right, but
here's the thing about that. I thought it was a pretty good movie. It wasn't a masterpiece. But it was all right.
It's definitely one that, like, if cable was still, like, a big thing right now, you would definitely, like, stumble upon it on TNT multiple times.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those movies.
And so just to get to the last bit of today, the main topic, Titans, man. Titans Season 3. So let's get into that. Titans Season 3, finally, just today being Monday, the 26th, just revealed... concept art and an actual picture of the new Red Hood. Super faithful. It's 100% ripped right out of the comics. There's nothing about it that they changed or made their own. It is the Red Hood. Even the hood, they didn't do. We were kind of scared they were going to do the New 52 where he had the mouth. In the New 52 he had the hood and it had like a sculpted like lips. Hated that. I always hated that. They did a super faithful, just fucking Red Hood, you know? Really cool helmet. The problem is that, and it's not a problem, I just think that the show has not been consistently awesome. There's been a lot of awesome parts of Titans. But, like, again, I thought in Season 2, it was great until the very last episode, and they that last episode was a train wreck, and they ruined it, and I hated it. However, there's a lot of awesome shit in that show. And when I look at these pictures, Curran Walters is still he's skinny.
Yeah.
He's strong, he's got muscles, but he's skinny and he's small. So he fits Robin. So they're not going through the whole thing where he has to be murdered by the Joker and then comes back. At least I don't think they are. And if they do, it's going to be quick and he's going to get brought back quick. Because they're not doing a time jump. They're not changing actors. they're using this same kid as Jason Todd through and through, and he's small. So when I saw the picture of the Red Hood and I put it in a like perspective, I was like, oh fuck, this dude's still small. He's still skinny.
Like if you go back to season 1, whenever you're introduced to Jason Todd and you see the two standing there, and just like the way that
in the
Dick
elevator.
is like, the way that like Dick is portrayed through season 1 to where he's, in my opinion, I didn't like the way that they portrayed him in like Titans so far.
Jason Todd?
No, Dick.
Really?
Because they made him instead
too serious?
And like
so
he was kind of more like how you wanted Jason Todd to be instead of like actually wanted to like learn to be himself.
So let me give my quick opinion on that.
Okay.
I think Jason Todd in the show has been excellent. He's had a temper. He's a dick. You know what I mean? He's kind of a little bit of Damian Wayne.
He's been my saving grace, definitely.
He's young and brash, and he has a lot to learn. I love that. I don't hate what they've done with Nightwing necessarily. I think that it took way too long for him to become Nightwing.
Yeah.
You've seen both seasons 1 and 2?
I just started season 2. I'm about 3 in.
So definitely, enjoy that season. Try to enjoy as much, because I think, again, it's a great season with just a bad last episode.
Really? That sucks, because even like the last episode on season 1, that one wasn't that good either. Just the dream sequence. Yeah,
I didn't hate that, but you definitely could tell that they meant it to be a longer season, and they had to cut it short.
Yeah.
But there was other issues with the uncertainty of the DC Universe app when that first season was happening. You know what I mean? So that I kind of forgave. The second season, however, again, awesome all the way through until that fucking last episode. I hated it. But that being said, I thought Jason Todd was phenomenal. I loved his intro episode. Him being introduced and fucking up those police officers and like just not like I'm happy that he was fucking up police officers, but I'm saying that him being just brash
ruthless,
and like ruthless, it felt like Jason Todd. With Dick Grayson, it feels like he just needs to chill the fuck out, because I get that he's still hurt over the split of him and Batman. I think a lot of that's weighing on his soul. It's tough, and you'll see a lot of that in season 2. And I think we just need in season 3 for him to kind of have let go of a lot of that and be Dick Grayson. Because Dick Grayson is not only a leader, but he's funny. He's quippy. He's charming. We want that stuff from him.
That's why I didn't like him in season 1 at all, because it definitely seems like even whenever you get to know Jason Todd and Dick Grayson, those two actors, like at any like flick of the switch, if you just would have like switched their roles, like they could both play that role, because it kind of felt like they're portraying both of those Robins to be like Jason Todd, rather than actually having that split between Dick and Jason.
Right. So again, I kind of forgave it so far, because I think he's just really upset. This is season 1, especially fresh off of him and Batman's split, and season 2 picks up right after it. So,
that in the trailer definitely, like, well, I don't know how much they had shot after the trailer, but where they had like the whole fuck Batman, and like they showed him fucking up everybody.
That was a huge deal, because the trailer looked bad. Nobody liked the trailer for season 1.
I loved the trailer.
No, nobody liked the trailer for season 1. Oh, and I don't mean that like you're wrong. I just mean that like when it initially came out, that the internet was like, ugh, and even I was like, oh, this looks, I don't know. But in context, in the show, it was a really cool scene, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was not nearly as corny. And I think that was the whole thing, like the fuck Batman. It seemed kind of corny in the trailer. I don't mind the things they changed with Coriander. Raven, I think she's a super good choice for Raven. She seems really familiar, and I don't know what else I might know her from.
I looked her up. She's really not in anything.
Not been in anything
This is
else?
like her first big thing. Wait, so has Raven actually been like getting any better? Because season 1, she was complete dog shit.
Yeah, season 2, man. Again, this is a show where season 1, you got to appreciate the slow burn. We're all dying for them to use their powers and figure stuff out. It's just not going to happen. Season 2 introduces Superboy, and you get a little more Beast Boy. You get a little more, so.
Yeah. Because that was my biggest complaint about season 1 is it was just mainly like the people who stole it was like Hawk and Dove, and the Wonder Woman character. I don't know why I'm pulling up
Donna
her name.
Wonder Girl, yeah.
And then Beast Boy, but Beast Boy really wasn't into that much. But definitely once I dive into season 2,
you definitely got to get through season 2 to get really prepared for season 3.
Don't get me wrong, I don't hate the show at all. It's like for like
it's better than Gotham.
That's not a hard thing to do. Definitely for those like DC shows that they had for that app, that would probably be like my number 2 behind Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing was so good.
Yeah, I love.
I really hope they revive that because apparently they're recutting it for the CW, and then which sucks because it's going to be more family friendly and stuff. But that does mean
I don't think they'll have to like make it too friendly. Like as long as they take out all the swear words and they take out all the blood, and they just since they're all an hour, if they just like chopping them in half. They'll make it like a 2-season type thing, but
hopefully that means because at the end of that first season, even though it was a limited show, we got he kind of transformed into Woodrue, and I really wanted that, so I wanted to see him fight Woodrue. So I hope that comes back. But yeah, Titans is I like Titans a lot, and I think that there's some dog shitness in there, but there is a lot of like hope.
What's your specs for season 3?
So season 3, we still don't really know what it's going to be about. I know that obviously Red Hood is coming in. We know Barbara Gordon is going to be introduced. So we're going to get Batgirl. We don't know if she's going to be Oracle in the show. We're probably going to get another big villain. Like in season 2, we got Deathstroke, who throughout history has been the Titans' number 1 enemy.
Yeah.
But we may even get, the Joker or somebody big, because my whole thing is that if you do the Red Hood, I'm not saying it's a must, but it's kind of a must. If you're gonna do the Red Hood,
makes sense.
Joker has to fucking kill him. Like I want, or at least so the Red Hood's whole motivation is that he was murdered by the Joker, and he was brought back, whether that was through Superboy Prime's reality altering punch, or if it was Ra's al Ghul putting him in the Lazarus pit. Regardless of how he was brought back, he's mad at Batman for not avenging him. Why the fuck is this clown still alive when he took me from you?
Yeah.
You called me your son. I was your son. You took me in. Why the fuck is he not dead? And that is one of the big motivations behind the Red Hood. And without any of that, I think that story-wise, it becomes kind of blasé because, all right, what's his motivation? He just doesn't want to be Dick,
Right.
He wants to be his own man. Well, I don't know. It just doesn't seem to have the punch. I'm not saying it's like, I'm not saying it's, what's the word for it? I'm not negating it, You can do that, and I'll still watch it. But it doesn't have the same punch as the Joker killed me. Why haven't you done anything about it? I'm mad. I'm angry at the world. Not just like, all right, Dick, fine. I don't want to be your sidekick. I don't want to be Robin anyways. You got to be Nightwing, You got this super bulky suit with these electric batons, The
only other thing I could think of for like season 3 is if they like start to introduce like how like in the Teen Titans animated in 2004, how they kind of had their little like rogues gallery of people, and like how they definitely have them in Go, maybe. But I definitely agree with you on.
I mean, like the Brotherhood, like Mammoth and Gizmo and whatever the girl's name was.
Like if they could kind of make that, I can see that. But it's either that or the Joker. There's really no other thing I could see.
And I glossed over this, but we know that the main villain of this season is going to be Blackfire.
Okay.
You may not know that because you haven't finished the second season, but we who are caught up. Spoiler alert, the main season of this new season will be Blackfire. Nice. So but that being said, I severely doubt it's just going to be Blackfire. There's going to be something else brought in, other elements brought in. Hawk and Dove, by the way, 2 of my favorite characters. I love them. The actor who plays Hawk, he was Thad Castle in Blue Mountain State. Hilarious. Awesome dude. Big and buff.
Yeah.
And that scene in the first season where he's dipping into like the bath and he has all the scars and shit, just like he's worked, like he's just tired and beat up.
Yeah.
He has like, he's taking cortisone shots and shit. Like, fuck, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the realisticness in this show. I think it really makes you feel like, oh, a lot of these guys don't have powers and we can feel it. We can feel that. So I think you're going to love season 2, man. As for all of y'all listening, season 3, what are your predictions? Like, what do you want? How do you want Jason Todd to become the Red Hood? I don't know. Let me know. DM me. We don't know. It was supposed to come out by the end of this year. Obviously, COVID happened. So hopefully, I think they're back in production now. They're filming everything. So hopefully, early 2021, like between January and March.
I'm going to say April.
You think?
That'll be my bet.
Yeah. Hopefully, it won't be any further than that. Because, again, I don't like to wait. But that's pretty much all, man. Tell me your thoughts at home. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want. Follow us again at the Bat in the Hat on Facebook, at Bat Hat Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And Trey, if you don't have anything else, I'm just going to go over the books to look out for.
I just got one quick plug. If anybody's looking for local arts, definitely hit up my Instagram at Trey Namo. And my girlfriend, Riley Yancey, she's about to start her own business.
Does she have an Instagram and stuff that she's
working on it now? We're trying to get all the domain names and everything, but we've been in talks with Mythical Mountain to start selling these pixelated keychains,
right?
Magnets, art pieces, everything. And it's most likely going to be under the name of PXL by R. So Pixel by R.
Oh, okay.
So we're probably going to get that to her name is Riley.
Riley, okay.
Yep.
I've got a little cousin named Riley. Very cool.
Nice. But yeah, we're definitely been in talks with Mythical Mountain. We're in talks with Video Game Rescue right now. Yeah. Kagan Coin. We're definitely trying to take the market by storm.
Oh, yeah. It's cool shit. I'm definitely going to post. He brought me a couple samples today. I'm going to take some cute pictures with them and try to put them on Instagram. As soon as that IG goes up, that's the very first thing, just as somebody who runs his own social media, that I would suggest having. Do your IG and like for the art page and post as much shit as you can.
Definitely.
And let me know. I'll be happy to share everything to the Bat Hat Pod stuff on Instagram. Other than that, let's go ahead and look out for a couple books this week. Today is Wednesday, my dudes, which means that once again, comic books have hit the shelves at your local comic book shop, and you can go right now and pick them up. But what I would suggest, if you're listening to this on your morning commute, if you're listening to this, at night even, you missed a whole day, call your LCS, your local comic shop, and see if they can hold copies, see if they have any less. You want to try to get to books as soon as possible because, believe it or not, ladies and gents, books sell out. That's why we have 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th printings.
What do they have to look out for, Steve?
This week, Detective Comics number 1029. This is a big one. The Joker War's over. We're kind of getting into the swing of everything after all that craziness. Gotham looks completely different. Bruce Wayne's role, Batman's role, and what he does, completely different. Mm-hmm. And in this issue, Detective Comics 1029, we have the first appearance, by the way, of a character called the Mirror. It's a new villain in the Batman mythos. And if you are into collecting first appearances or spec books, this is a big one. Definitely get Detective Comics 1029. First appearance of the Mirror. Batman 3 Jokers, number 3, the very last book. It was only a 3-part Black Label series.
Who would have guessed it?
Yeah, I know. Third one comes out. Each one came with a collectible card. Make sure that if you are picking up your 3 Jokers, it has that collectible card in it.
And you can summon Exodia.
So you can get something Exodia. Fuck yeah. The Egyptian gods, man. I got the 3 Egyptian god cards in my closet up there in a box somewhere.
Nice.
They're like not the original ones, but
gotta have them though.
They're super cool. I miss Yu-Gi-Oh. Undiscovered Country 9. Scott Snyder has an indie book called Undiscovered Country, and it's basically this super fucked dystopian future of America, the whole world actually, which has been taken over by a plague or a virus, which it was not written during COVID. It was actually written before COVID, which is what's freaky because everybody's dying from this virus. And we've had horrible leadership, cough, cough, and the world went to shit. Now, America is barricaded in a wall of, fuck you, this is America, nobody in or out. Just super freaky stuff to read, but it's a really, really strong read.
Talk about hitting the nail with the hammer.
Yeah, super Mad Max dystopian future of America, of the world. And the lengths of which they're willing to go through for a hopeful antidote. Number 9 comes out today. Go pick it up. Go check it out. Let's see. Batgirl and Red Hood, both of their 50th issues are out this week. Why that's important is I think this is the last issue for both of those books.
Really?
For at least the Rebirth, what they're doing right now. They're oversized anniversary issues, and they're bound to be fucking awesome. Both of those are characters who always deserve to have a solo book. Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, is a super interesting character. I love her. I think that I'll never get tired of her being Batgirl. And then the Red Hood, man. I mean, Red Hood, like the comic version of Red Hood, is one of the most interesting and well fleshed out characters I think that has ever hit comics. Just in the last, since the 90s when he was brought back, Under the Red Hood. Was that 90s or 2000s? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was 90s, but
close enough.
Yeah, whatever. Something happened. And then Suicide Squad number 10 comes out. Suicide Squad by Tom Taylor is been a phenomenal book, which I think is coming to an end after just 10 issues. I don't think this is the last issue. It might be going to like 12 or 13. DC, as you guys know, has cut back 25% of their books to focus on the main title stuff that they really wanted to push, because they are not Marvel, who will pump out 500 books a month, and if you wanted to read them all, you had to spend $1,000.
Shade.
I fucking hate Marvel. I'll tell you this about Marvel: their comic book business practices are fucking horse shit. They have, when we're talking about like a random issue, not even signature, not even like, oh, this is a big event, a random fucking issue, 10 variant covers, incentive covers that are way more expensive. They'll pump out 50 books a week. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Nobody can collect. And not only that, the shittiest thing they do is they'll do everything is an event. So they'll have 5 events a year that are part of the main continuity, so you got to read them. And if you don't buy and read all of the tie-ins to that event, you don't get all the story. You miss key pieces of information. Fuck you, Marvel. Fuck you in the ass. DC at least does like contained. Oh, this is a 6-issue miniseries. Oh, what? There's the Joker War, but there's tie-ins, but you don't really got to fucking read them. They're cool, but you don't have to. There's not a billion. We do one gloss cover variant for every book. You got your book, and then you got your, what do they call them? The cardstock variant. Fucking Marvel. You look like you want to say something. What's the matter, Trey?
I'm just hoping like our story boards, like how you and me like to pitch each other stories on our text messages and stuff like that. I'm already seeing it in like a couple of years whenever we get clipped, whenever we're going to pitch something at Marvel. Hey, you remember October 26th? October 26th, 2020?
Steve, it's interesting because we love your podcast, man. Love it. Big fans, big listeners. We went back. We heard, do you remember this? I never said that. I don't remember. I don't remember saying that at all.
That must have been Matt, not me.
Yeah, no, that was an impersonator. No, fuck Marvel. I don't give a fuck. If I ever could write professionally, which I love to write, if I ever could write professionally, it would definitely be for DC. Or I'd want to put out my own, stories on my own label and stuff, or go through
agree with you.
Image or something like that.
Fuck, that's what I didn't bring. I have like a little tiny mini book where I've been writing like a bunch of little story arcs.
Really?
I meant to run it by you today.
I got to get in touch with an artist for a book. I wanted to do a DC book. It was just a fan book. Fun fact, guys, you can write and draw whatever the fuck you want as long as you don't charge people for it. As long
Call
as
it a zine.
Yeah, as long as you're not profiting off of it, you can. If you want to do a graphic novel, do a graphic novel. You can disperse it to anyone as long as you are not charging for it and it clearly says unauthorized or unofficial DC, whatever. Me and Matt had this story we were working on where it was kind of like the Red Hood and the Ravager, Rose Wilson. This future is where they ended up getting married and they were together, and then they had twins, and then those twins are taking on the personas of, one of them is obsessed with their grandpa Slade, who's Deathstroke, and one of them kind of follows the Bat family, right? So you got one, yeah, so it's kind of cool. So you got one who's turning into a mini Deathstroke and one who's turning into a mini Red Hood. And we always had that idea, and I have fucking like pages somewhere where it's just like bullet points. Like I haven't even written, I think I did write a couple pages of script, but it's like pages and pages of just bullet point notes of like kind of getting a timeline together, and I always thought that would be really fun. I need to get into, it's just expensive, man. If you're not a good artist, if you can't draw for shit, you got to pay an artist, which people, if you want an artist, pay for a fucking artist, you know.
Yeah, definitely send your artwork to the Bat in the Hat podcast.
Yeah, oh please, God, I'd love to post that shit on the page. If you guys are artists, please send us your shit. I'd love to. I'll tag you. You know, I'm not gonna steal credit or anything. I'd love to tag you guys and showcase your art on the pages. But unless you can come up with a deal where it's like, oh, we're gonna sell this, or this is gonna be for exposure or whatever. But most artists are like, oh, this is gonna take me hours and hours and hours of my time. I want to be compensated. And often it's like $25 a page, and that's just for pencils and stuff. So it's expensive, you know?
Definitely.
Oftentimes you can drop $1,000 just having an artist do your book, you know?
Yeah, like 25 for a panel and shit.
Yeah, which is totally...
Making a 4-panel book.
Which is totally fine. You know what I mean? Because I believe in paying artists. But you have to have the resources to do so. So a lot of my stuff that I've written a bunch of different stories, and they never go anywhere, but it's just fun to do.
I mean, if we're definitely pitching diamonds right now, I got like a little one I've been working on.
Which one?
I actually kind of like want to do like a little spin-off of like Swamp Thing and Martian Manhunter. Like have Martian Manhunter crash into the swamp. So then Swamp Man...
And they fuck.
I wish. Swamp Thing is like fighting Martian Manhunter, but then the FBI are trying to come get whatever crashed in Louisiana in the swamp.
Right.
So then they have to inevitably team up to like fight off the people who are destroying the swamp, because an enemy of mine is a friend, so they have to team up to stop them. But definitely kind of spitballing that one around right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just fun to write like fanfic.
Yeah.
So I have like 10 pages of a screenplay I've been working on, like for my clerks. You know, I always call it my clerks because it's literally about clerking in a comic book shop. But I'm a phenomenal fraud. I'm just I'm a clone of Kevin
Jacksonville
Smith.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah, just the Jacksonville Kevin Smith. And but no, I mean, I love doing that stuff because I want to go to school for making movies, and I'll be way better at that. I feel, you know, that's something I can learn and understand and fantasize about. But art, every time I pick up a pencil and I put it to paper, it's the worst fucking thing that happened ever. You know, like Hitler getting kicked out of art school and becoming Hitler makes the slightest bit of sense now because it's infuriating. You know what I mean? I can't. I'm unskilled, and drives me nuts. But I do love to write.
Hey, but hey, we got maybe one of our listeners out there want to try to help us out.
Oh yeah, anybody who it's tough though because you don't want to be mean, because I've had people send me their shit before and be like, I'd love to do a project with you guys, right? And it's just awful.
Yeah.
If you're listening, you know who you are. I'm fucking kidding, dude. The look on your face. No, it wasn't somebody who from the show, but I have had people be like, "Oh, I'd love to do a thing," and it's like, "Oh yeah, okay. It's great."
I was about to say, if you're about to shit on my boy Tim Stacy, I'm about to have to slap you up.
Man, Tim's awesome. I'm really glad Tim's getting. Shout out Tim Stacy. If you guys go on, I don't know what his @ is on Instagram.
I think it's just all Tim Stacy.
Is it @ Tim Stacy? I thought it was like Tim Stacy Creations or something. Can you look it up for me on IG? Right now. Tim Stacy, man, he's a local artist. He brings his stuff into Mythical Mountain where I work, and we consign artwork for Tim Stacy. Is it just @ Tim Stacy? Oh, Tim Stacy 30. So @ Tim Stacy 30. Yeah, he does good shit, man. I'll share more of his stuff to the story on Instagram. But for those of you who like collecting art, he signs everything. You know, it's all I'm sure you can buy original artwork from him. He does prints and all that. So I love his stuff, man. I think it's great. And he's getting more into it now. I think he's dedicating more time to it, and he's, you know, spending a lot more. He just posted pictures of his like drawing setup and everything. It was phenomenal. You know, he has a nice little table and bench and stuff that he works on, and looks great.
It's pretty badass.
Well, that's going to do it for me. That's all we got today. Thank you, Trey. Thank you for coming on.
I appreciate you having me.
Thank you guys for listening. And if you are listening, you know, sometimes we get a bunch of listens, sometimes we get none, but, you know, fuck it. I don't care.
All that matters about hanging out, buddy.
I just love... Oh, you hear that high five? I really hope that picked up on the mic a little bit. I just love talking nerdy stuff. I also... It's a little better. I WD-40'd the shit out of my chair today. So
no, you didn't.
I mean, yeah, it's still got a creak in it, but a little better, you know. Other than that, man, thank you guys so much. Please, again, follow us on the Bat in the Hat podcast on Facebook. Follow us at Bat Hat Pod on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. A lot more videos are going to be coming. They're usually like a minute or less, just so they can fit on Instagram and TikTok. And we just have fun doing this. But other than that, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.